Wario, Wario, Wario. You started off as a Mario villain and now you've created your own series of games. There's the Wario Land series, which is a platformer series, the WarioWare series, which are each collections of 5-second minigames, and one other game that is extremely overlooked and obscured. That's right, I'm talking about Wario World. As if the video title wasn't self-explanatory. Wario World is a 3D platformer / beat-em-up game that was released back on June 20th, 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube. I've had this game sitting in my collection for some years now, and I feel a review is in order. So the story goes that Wario just finished building his castle, of which he sits in all day picking his nose and gloating about. However, in the depths of the castle lies a mysterious black jewel that curses anything it comes into contact with. Wario has no idea what this jewel is, so he decides to keep it for himself. One day, while enjoying the riches that he is surrounded by, Wario is distracted by a noise coming from below the castle. And then, just like that, all of his riches are consumed by the black jewel, who uses them to create its own world filled with monsters. Wario, being angry about his loot being stolen, decides to steal it all back and defeat the jewel. In his quest, he comes along a race of creatures known as the Spritelings, who were the ones who sealed the jewel away in the first place, and they form an alliance. Wario uses their help to take down the jewel and gets his castle and his riches back. The end. As you can probably guess, the plot isn't an entirely large focus of the game. But come on, this is Wario. Were you really expecting much? The story is mostly just there to give a reason behind the game's existence and serve as a plot device to keep the game moving along. Since that is all there really is to say about the story, it's time to move on to the gameplay, and there's a lot to talk about. Like I stated earlier, this is a beat-em-up game, meaning there is an emphasis on combat. Wario controls like any other game character might. You move with the control stick, jump with A, and punch with B. Pretty standard stuff. There are also some other moves that Wario can do. The L trigger allows Wario to suck up coins in his general vicinity. The R trigger allows Wario to perform the dash attack, which is useful if you want to get through a wave of enemies or just simply want to move faster. Pressing R during a jump lets Wario do a ground pound, which is required to enter the trapdoors leading to the underground sections of the game, of which I will get to later. Wario can also pick up and throw stunned enemies with the B button. If you spin the control stick around like you would in one of those old Mario Party games or Sonic Riders while carrying an enemy, you can make Wario do the wild swing ding. Yes, that is the actual name in the manual. Basically, it's a spinning move that takes out any enemy unlucky enough to get in your path, for the most part. I will explain later. Pressing A during a dash attack will allow Wario to do a corkscrew conk, a useful somersault move that allows you to cross gaps without losing momentum or taking damage. Lastly is the pile driver, which can be accomplished by picking up an enemy, jumping, and pressing the R trigger. This move is required to enter through steel trapdoors. These moves all come in useful while battling the constantly respawning enemies throughout each stage. There are 5 main types of enemies. You have the small weaklings that go down in a single punch, the larger versions who become stunned with a few punches and then have to be defeated by either throwing, spinning, or pile driving them. You have the heavy enemies who can only be attacked from the back and move slowly. You have the tanks who stay in place and shoot bombs. They go down easily, but if you're too slow, they will retract into their protective shells where they can't be hit. And lastly, you have the flying types who, well, fly. That's really the most description I can think of for these guys. There are various other world-specific enemies, but I don't feel like going into detail on them. The worlds themselves each have their own theme and 2 levels, each with their own bosses and a world boss. There are 4 worlds in total, not counting the final boss. 4 worlds with only 2 levels each would usually make a short game, but not in Wario's case. Much like The Simpsons, these levels just don't know when to end, they seemingly go on forever. I had to record about twice as much footage for this game than Sonic Unleashed, simply because the levels take 15 minutes to complete. And you know, it's not like I suck at the game or anything. Wario's movement is also rather slow, which also makes the levels seem longer. Thankfully, the levels seem to have a fair bit of variety. You have switches that cause treasure boxes to pop up containing treasures for you to collect, as well as breakable blocks containing coins. And I am now realizing that this is not just a platformer and a beat 'em up, it is also a collectathon. Heck, there's even some puzzle solving here. This game has a little bit of everything, doesn't it? Each level contains 8 treasures, 3 stamps earned by completing certain goals in the levels, 5 spritlings, 3 red diamonds, and 6 golden Wario statue pieces. Not to mention the endless amounts of coins needed to buy garlic to replenish health, and to continue wherever you left off in a level if you run out of hearts and get a game over. However, of all those things, the only ones you really need to get in order to beat the game are the red diamonds. These are required to unlock the barrier around the boss's lair at the end of each level. Each red diamond is located within either an underground puzzle area or one of the wacky dream areas. Trapdoors serve as entrances to these areas. Be aware that red diamonds are only located in trapdoors that are glowing. Other trapdoors usually contain coins and other goodies. If you fail to collect all the red diamonds by the end of the stage, there will be a balloon with a glob of glue on it for you to grab onto, which will bring you back to the beginning of the stage. Also, if you happen to plummet off of the stage, you will fall into the Unicorn's lair, which can basically be described as a panicking fever dream. In order to escape, you have to destroy a bunch of crates until you find one with the spring that will bounce you back out. All the while being chased by the unicorns who will shake the coins out of you if one manages to catch you. This, coupled with the urgent music and constant water pits that will cause you to drop coins if you fall into them, will make you regret falling into them in the first place. Speaking of music, let's talk about the game's presentation. The graphics in this game are pretty good looking. Sure, the GameCube had games with some sharper details and less noticeable polygons, but in terms of style, Wario World has a specific charm to its design, and all the enemy incarnations fit the theme of their respective levels. A weird detail that a friend of mine pointed out to me while reviewing the footage, however, is that Wario appears to hover above the ground by about an inch the entire game. While this is practically unnoticeable on an old TV using composite input, it is extremely noticeable on a newer TV with component input, especially to a friend who has never seen the game before. But that seems to be the only flaw in terms of graphics though. Then there's the sound design. Oh boy, where do I even begin with this? Everything in Wario World is accompanied by loud and obnoxious sound effects. However, at no point did I ever feel the need to turn off the volume because of it. It's almost as if the game's sound was created to be just annoying enough to make you chuckle without wanting to stuff cotton in your ears. If that was the goal, Nintendo, I applaud you as you pulled it off quite nicely. If not, well, it's still cool. As for the music, it is really good. And I mean really good. Want an example? Just listen to the theme song for the first level, which has since become Wario's theme song. The music is also genius because it hides the slow nature of the game by being upbeat and, well, obnoxious. It also has this sort of Luigi's Mansion type vibe to it, and I like it. Everything about this game keeps one main goal in mind: making fun, interesting, and goofy experience, which I feel it does an outstanding job of doing. Heck, even the booklet keeps this idea in mind by having most of the text written from Wario's self-loving perspective, even throwing some jokes around and making fun of the developers. This is one game I wish I had a sequel, but sadly I don't see that happening anytime soon. If a sequel ever does come to fruition, you can bet it will be on my list of games I would want to pick up. And that concludes the wacky journey of Wario World. I hope you guys enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, keep on gaming. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like or a share? It goes a long way towards helping getting my channel out there and well known. I would also be very thankful if you decide to subscribe. Who knows, maybe one day I could overcome PewDiePie in top spot. Nah, I'm just kidding around. But still, it would mean a lot to me if you guys subscribed, as it lets me know that I'm doing a decent job and should continue to make these reviews. Also, I forgot to mention that for a while, reviews will be my only videos on this channel, as I do not have the time to animate with school and whatnot. And as of the making of this video, Dragon King Development's current project isn't ready to be officially revealed yet, but when it is, you can bet that you guys will be the first bunch to see it. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. By the way, did anyone ever use the Game Boy Advance connectability feature to download WarioWare minigames? Yeah, I didn't think so.